Hey guys, so we have a really excited episode today. Today we are going to talk to Mike Michael Dillard, and he's going to share his story of overcoming different challenges in his life, setbacks, financial struggles, overcoming childhood poverty, career setbacks, unemployment. And so the topic today is going to be around resilience, right? As men, sometimes life will knock us down, right? We are going to experience different setbacks in our finances, in our relationships, in our business, careers, right? Ministry, different areas of our life, right? And so, how do we bounce back, right? Not just bounce back, but how do we bounce forward, right? Because I believe that challenges that we experience in our lives, it is to propel us or to push us or to empower us or to take us to that next level. I believe that challenges and setbacks is like a springboard, right? To help us to get to that next level. And so Michael, my guest today, is going to share his story and how he was able to overcome the different challenges in his life. So Michael have over 20 years of experience in leadership. He's a leadership speaker, also leadership coach. And so he have many years of experience speaking at different events all over the world, coaching successful persons, right? So, Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, man. Such a pleasure. You've been doing some amazing work. Like listeners, like you got to check out his last episode. It was off the chain, on fire. Podcasts like this help people, especially men, right? It helped men to grow. And what we want to do is we want to uplift and upskill people so that they can build a happy family, so that they can build generational wealth, and most importantly, so that they can learn how to be resilient, so that they can overcome obstacles, so that they can become successful. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, thank you for the great introduction. My motto is vision plus action equals success. I'm going to tell you why. Growing up, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I kind of started off behind a little bit. Imagine most people, they want to, most people when they're growing up, what do? They go to high school to graduate from high school. Then they go to college, they learn a trade, then they start working. And then they're like, oh, I guess it's time to get married and buy a house, right? That's most people's situation, right?
Yeah.
And then they have the house, and then guess what? They got that room with the baby crib, all decorated nicely. Life is good, ready to bring on the next generation. Well, for me, my mom and dad was like love at first sight, so they just couldn't wait for me to come into this world at the wonderful age of 15, 16 years old. That's when my parents, got together, got pregnant, and then they tried to make it work, got married, traveled, and then it just didn't work. And then all of a sudden, my world just starts spiraling, right? Single parent household, low income, had no vision. No vision. But then there was a program called Upward Bound. Oh my goodness, Upward Bound, the TRIO program. Shout out to the teachers, the universities, high schools that are supporting the program. Excellent program. I got a piece of paper. Easton. I was sitting in the classroom, and all of a sudden, someone handed me this piece of paper that changed my life. It was an invitation to join the Upward Bound program. And it's to help people like me who come from low income, single parent households so that they can live the American dream. I signed up for the program, was able to get tutoring, skills, and etc. And then I tapped in and said, you know what? If they can do it, I can do it. If they can become successful, I can become successful because I saw the way, the path, had resources and tools available. It's kind of like I had a seed in me, right? When you have a seed in you, you just need somebody to come along and all that dirt and obstacles that you went through, right? Because when you have a seed, you got to have some obstacles. You got to have a little dirt on you. But
Yes,
then
so
when the
true.
water and the resources come along, you can become successful. So fast forward, I got my college degree and I started traveling the world, we can go into a little bit more details later on, so that's kind of how I went from, behind, right? I started off behind, but I didn't give up. I became resilient thanks to great resources.
I really love that, and I love what you said, right? Vision plus action equals success, right? It doesn't matter what you are going through in your everyday life, right? Once you have a vision, a clear vision of where you want to go, right? Because a lot of persons are just going through the motions, right? They are going through their obstacles, right? And they want to create a better life. This is not where they want to be, but they allow their circumstances to determine their outcome. They allow their circumstances, their environments, their setbacks. You could have said, you know what, this is my life. This is a card that I've been dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to, like, success is not really for me, right?
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
wasn't born in that household, right? I don't have, like, my parents, right? I didn't see my parents being successful or whatever it was, right? And you could have let that become your story, right? So listeners, you don't have to allow your environment, you don't have to allow your experience to become your story. You can choose a different story. You can rewrite your story, right? And you said to yourself, right? If they can do it, so can I. That's a really great mindset, right? To come from, right? If they can do it, so can I. Right? I
Exactly.
love that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
One thing I realized is that sometimes it's about having the opportunity to be in the room. That's
Yeah.
it. You've seen
Exactly.
it before, right? You've seen where people have skills, they just need the opportunity to be in the room.
Yeah. Yeah. They just need someone to believe in them, to see potential in them, just like that organization, they saw something inside of you that you could become more. Right? So if persons have the right opportunity, they can excel. Right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Tell me, how can someone, right, like, create that opportunity to get into the room so that they can become more?
I feel like, this is where, mentorship, being a warrior, being hungry, having vision. A lot of times, if you don't know where you're going, it's kind of like sometimes people get in the car and they just start driving. But do people really get in the car and start driving down the highway for hours on end? They don't. Most of they have a destination, right? They put the GPS on, they know where they're going. Unfortunately, for people in their career and their life, they're just living day by day. They wake up, they put the socks on, put the clothes on, and they're just going with the wind. They have no plan, no vision. So my point in saying is that first of all, people have to have a vision. When I coach leaders and I coach young entrepreneurs, I tell them, what's your vision first? First, we got to establish a direction. Where do you want to go in your life? Where do you want to go? Once we establish that, then we identify the appropriate resources that's appropriate for you. For example, after I graduated from college, I wanted more. I was hungry. I was hungry. I was a warrior. I wanted to reach the top. I wanted to reach. So what did I do? I started networking with other people. Hey, what are you doing? What's the requirements? Then eventually I got a job promotion. Then I applied for a job and I didn't get the job. I thought I was the most qualified because my numbers were better. I wrote in my book, Accidental Success, I tell the story. I interviewed again. Guess what? I had the best numbers. I still didn't get the job because I didn't have the relationship. I wasn't really networking. I only talked to one or two people about my interests. I didn't talk with management about my interests. So I learned the lesson. You got to learn to network and express your vision with other people. So I was hurt. I was disappointed that I didn't get it. My numbers were great, but guess what? I had a vision. Remember? I had a
Yeah.
vision. I was
And you're
hungry.
hungry.
I applied again the third time and I got it. So you're going to face obstacles in life. But if you have a vision, you're going to keep going. It's like driving down the street. Remember, you know where you want to go. You're trying to go to the mall, it's 45 minutes away. You might run into some traffic, but your eye is ahead because you know where you're trying to get to. So my point is people need to identify where do you want to be? 1 year from today? 1 year from today, write it down. Text yourself, set a calendar reminder right now. Where do you want to be 1 year from today? Now, that's just step one. Now, step two, where do you want to be 3 years from now? We're going to take baby steps. 3 years from now, where do you want to be? What do you want to achieve? Do you want to have your own business? Do you want to, buy a house? Do you want to have $2,000 in the bank, $5,000 in the bank? Do you want to have a 401k? Okay. Now we're going to take you 5 years out. 5 years out from today, where do you want to be? And we're going to make it happen.
I love that. You said something right, that you are hungry, right? And Les Brown, motivational speaker, said that you got to be hungry,
You
right?
got to be hungry.
When you have that vision that this is where I want to go, right? And you're hungry, then it doesn't matter how many times life knocks you down. It doesn't matter how many times they said no, because you applied, right? And you could have said, no, what, this is not for me, right? You could have played the victim, right? Because of your story, because of your past. You could have become a victim and say, you know what, people like me don't get this kind of opportunity. It doesn't matter how hard I work, or it doesn't matter
Yep.
how hard I study, right? But you had a warrior mindset, right? And you're hungry and you said, you know what, I didn't get it this time. Let me try again. Maybe I will get it the other time. Right. And you kept going, right? You kept working on yourself, networking. You kept pushing, right, until you got that opportunity. Right.
Exactly. And that's one of many stories of being resilient, having a vision. And that's the key. The key is that when you have a vision and you're able to work with people who understand how to overcome obstacles, you're able to climb that ladder.
So then, what you're basically saying, right, in order for you to be successful in life, in just about any area of life, in your finances, right, in your relationship, career path, business, you got to have a vision and you got to be hungry, right? Resilience basically is the key then to becoming successful.
Correct. So can I share a story with you?
Go ahead.
After I became so-called successful, remember I got my college degree, got the nice corporate job. I was denied 3 times. I eventually got the job I wanted. Life is good. And then all of a sudden, I find myself not it was a nice summer. It was like July. It was hot, right? I'm driving to work, drop my daughter off at daycare. She's about 4 years old, drive to work. On Fridays, they would provide us free food so that we can hit our sales numbers. So after lunch, my manager comes and taps me on the shoulder and says, Michael, I want to talk to you. Go into her office, and she's like, we're going to have to let you go. Think about that. You just dropped your
Wow.
daughter off that morning at
Yeah, that's a
daycare.
that's a great hit, right?
You're making nice money. And it's 2008, 2009. The recession is hitting. It's hard to get a job. What do you do? What do you do? Is you're driving home to go pick your daughter up from daycare and you tell them, look, I can't afford it no more. And then on top of that, your wife is pregnant with your second child. So
Oh, wow.
talking
That's
about
that's hard.
obstacles.
Yeah.
And so based upon, me being financially savvy, I made some smart financial, plans, which I normally teach people on how to be financially literate. But fast forward 4 months of getting unemployment, basic minimum money, wasn't a lot, a couple $100 a week. That's it. I find a job to be an assistant store manager. I apply, I get a call for an interview, and my wife is praying that I don't take the job. Talk to me now. Wait a minute. Who does
Hold
that?
on.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, you're in a financial situation, right? And your wife is praying that you don't get the job. Tell us more. That sounds interesting.
Oh my. Uh, so she wants to ride with me to the interview. So I said, okay, come on. So she's riding with me to the interview. I'm in the mall, walk into the store and everything. I'm doing the happy dance, like, oh yeah, I'm about to get this job. I'm about to ace this interview. I'm ready. I'm hungry, right? I'm hungry. Once again, I'm hungry, ready. Go in there. do the interview, come back out. My wife's like, "Oh, how did it go?" I said, "Oh, I think it's good. I think that I'm going to get a call soon. I am going to get a call in the next few days." He says, mm-mm. God has something greater in store for you, Michael. God has something great coming for you." I said, in my mind, thinking to myself, I was like, "Oh, I pray it comes soon, ASAP, because the money is low. My money is funny." The next day, I get an email. It says, "We want you to come and interview for a job in Washington, D.C. to be a foreign service officer, which is a U.S. diplomat." I'm sitting here like, what? What? This can't be real. I do a Google
Wow.
search, I check, and to my surprise, I had accidentally applied to be a U.S. diplomat. And then I get accepted, past all the criteria, and my life was forever changed. Traveling the world over 11 countries, working with great people around the world, leading great teams, managing millions of dollars. And that's how life can just change when you have a vision.
Wow, I love that, right? From being unemployed, right? From months living on straight string budget, right? Not knowing what's going to happen next.
Yes.
Right, to get in this awesome opportunity, right? Having your life change in a moment,
Just like that, right? Just like
right?
that. So one thing I learned, is like with this great podcast, being a warrior, it's about having the right mindset, and iron sharpens iron. When you have a healthy mindset for growth, develop your skills today, because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. You have to be ready. When the door opens and they say it's yours, come get it. You had to practice, you've had to have done the research, you've had to have studied, so that when the opportunity presents itself, you're ready.
I love that, right? Because I was talking to one of my friend about that yesterday, right? And I was telling her that you have to become in order to have, right?
Yes,
You have to get yourself ready so that when, because a lot of times, many of us, right, we are praying for the opportunity. We are saying, God, I want you to change my life. God, this is what I want. But are you ready for it? Have you made preparation? It's like you saying that I want the rain to fall, right? It's like there's a drought and you're saying you want the rain, but you don't make any preparation for it, right?
exactly.
Are you making preparation for what you expect? Right? Are you
Ooh,
making preparation for what you want, what you desire? Right? Are you becoming the person that when the opportunity comes, you are ready for it? Right? And that is one of the lessons that I remember many years ago God taught me, right? Because I'm a Christian. Um, so so God
so
taught me that that you have to be ready for the it's like I remember I was at work, right, and I was talking to God and saying, God, this is what I want, right? I want to be a speaker and all of those things, right? And then it's like I just heard this voice, are you making preparation for it? Like if you should get the opportunity right now, could you be able to walk into it?
exactly right now. So it's kind of like, you touched on two different points. I like your analogy. It's kind of like when someone plants a seed, right? So say you go to the grocery store hypothetically, and they say, "You know what? We you want an apple? Oh, you want an apple? Okay, here we're gonna put the seed in the ground, the soil, and we want you to come back tomorrow, and then you can have the apple." Would you buy that apple? You wouldn't buy it because it hasn't matured and grown, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But a lot of times, people what they want to plant the seed today and eat tomorrow. It don't work like that. Life don't
Exactly. You
work
have to go
like
through the
that.
process.
You have to go through the process. You have to go through the process.
Right. I love that, right? And sometimes with the process, right, you're going to experience a lot of setbacks, right? Life is going
Yes.
to knock you down because the setback is to prepare you for it. And I
Yes.
I always tell clients and tell persons, right, that the obstacles that you go through now is to prepare you for the purpose that you're called for. It's to prepare you for that next thing. And so when you are going through whatever you are going through, right, don't look at it as you being a victim, right? Have the right perspective, have the right mindset, right? Who am I becoming, right? What is it that I need to learn in this process? What I need to learn, right, in this, because this experience is to teach me something, right?
Exactly.
I believe that you could not do the job that you did and be as effective as you were, right? If you did not have the experiences, if life didn't throw some curveballs, right? If life didn't throw some dirt on you, right? Because there was a
Yes.
seed inside of you, right? And the obstacles, the adversities, right? It was like soil and it was like water to allow the seed to grow.
You got that right, and another thing is sometimes people have to be willing to listen. When I have this thing called the leadership edge, right, that I use when I'm coaching leaders. You have to, in order to grow, you have to have a blueprint or format. And so I call it lead, right? LEAD. Listen. You have to be able to listen as a leader, right? Listen to what's happening. Listen to the emotions that people are using, the type of words, verbiage that people are speaking to you with, right? And then what you have to do is empower people to help you or empower your employees to do more. And then adapt to change. So you have to adapt and also help them adapt. And then D, develop, right? You have to develop others around you and then be willing to be developed. And so in life, we don't know everything, right? We don't know everything, which is why it's great when we all come together, we network, we join groups, we listen to podcasts like this so that, every day we become 1% better. Hmm. Every day we become 1% better based upon the knowledge and the information that we receive.
I love that. Become 1% better, right? Because a lot of times we have that vision, but it's like seeing the top of the staircase, right? But in
Mhm.
order for you to get to the top, you have to first you first have to take the first step, right? So in order for you to achieve to live that vision, how can you become 1% better? How can you do 1% more, right? So if you just stay at the bottom and you just set your eyes at the vision, then you're not going to get to the top, right? So it's about becoming that 1% or doing that 1%, right? And I think that's where the action step comes in, right? Vision plus action equals success.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, what are some of the mindset shifts that, apart from having that clear vision, right, and having the I can mindset, right? What are some mindset shifts that you made in order for you to be the person that you are now? Traveling the world, speaking at different leaders, speaking at different companies, conferences, and so forth, coaching leaders. What are some of the mindset shifts?
One major mindset is that you have to be willing to fail forward.
Well, I love that. Absolutely love that, right? A minute, you have to fail forward. What are the lessons?
The lesson is that, remember, I told you the story how I applied for that promotion 3 times. The first time, no. Second time, no. The third time, I was successful. You got to fail, right? The first time I didn't do what they wanted, I failed. Second time, but the third time, I went forward. Another story for you. Graduated from college, I was ready to make that money, right? I got my college degree. I did all the right things. I'm applying for jobs. Nobody's calling. I'm stuck at the call center that I've been working at for the last 6 months before I got my college degree. And I'm looking around, I'm like, I went to college for this? Like, this can't be my career. So
Yeah.
tell me, I saw an internship opportunity from my MTSU alumni newsletter. It says, "Hey, internship opportunity." I applied for it. Why? Because I didn't have the experience. That's something else that people don't teach you, right? When you're young, and that's why I teach people now. Sometimes you can have the degree, but you don't have the experience. And
Yeah.
if you don't have the
So
experience, they're not going to open that door for you. So I had to take one step back and take a less paying job. I had to take a job paying less money than I was already making. And I had a college degree. But guess what? Fast forward, I marked my work with excellence. I showed up look, it's not about the money. It's about me proving that I can be the best person in this place. After the internship ended, I was offered a job. You got to have a feel forward mindset, right? You got to be willing to take one step back to go two steps forward. You see, I went back to make less money, and then I took two steps back, making more money, more benefits, more opportunities. So that's why I said you have to have a fail forward up mindset. Try it. Try it. If you fail, learn from your mistakes and keep going.
I love that. And I'm really happy that you mentioned failing forward and taking two step backward in order to take one step forward, right? I remember when and that I remember many years ago, right? I took a job at a gas station, right? And a lot of my friends were saying to me, Eston, why are you taking this job? You are so educated. Look at your educational background, right? You shouldn't be doing this job, right? But I was telling them that sometimes you have to take a step backward in order for you to go forward, right? Sometimes you have to take a less paying job, right? That will give you the opportunity that will um, allow you to network,
Yes.
right? And grow so that you can get to that next place, right? And that's what I did when I was working at the gas station, right? I met a lot of persons, I met a lot of business owners, and they were willing to help me. They were saying, okay, persons in different positions. I even met an inspector who was saying, Eston, if you want to get into the police force, I will help you to get into it. Right? I will push you. Right? I had business owners who were willing to help. Right? My next job was because of someone that I met at that gas station. Right? So
Yes. Yep.
sometimes you have to be willing to take a step backward in order for you to go forward. One of my friends right now that um that I can always call to because of the position that she's in a high position, right? Was someone that I met at the gas station, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you have to be willing to take a step backward sometimes in order for you to go forward.
Exactly. And then, in life, you can't have a testimony. You cannot have a testimony without a test. In life, you cannot have a testimony without a test, right? And so when I'm speaking to college students and leaders, I'm able to talk to them using real world situations. Who do you want? You want someone that's giving you the textbook answer or somebody that's been through it before, someone that started at the bottom and climbed one rung up the ladder. Then they climbed another rung up the ladder. And then they kept climbing. And then they got to the top, right? They got to the top. And then all of a sudden, they're able to come back and help others. They're able to come back and help others up the ladder. But it was because
Exactly.
the experience at the bottom.
Exactly. Do you have any other mindset shift that you want to share with us?
Uh, I would say, the last mindset shift, I'm pausing because I'm looking through, my book that I wrote, is that This is something that will confuse some people a lot of times, right? Is that sometimes you wonder, why are certain things happening, right? This is more because, when you start to rise up in your career, you a door is closed and you're wondering, like, what happened? How come it's closed? Or the path isn't opening for you sometimes. I teach people to just pause and realize that sometimes it's not you. Other people have their own agenda. And that's deep, right? Because other people
Yeah.
have their own agenda, which means sometimes people are working against you. They don't want you to succeed. Sometimes they want to be in your spot where you're at, so they're not happy for you. So the point is, don't beat yourself up when things within the environment aren't going as planned. It's because sometimes there's other things at force that's trying to push you down. But guess what? You've been tested before. You've been tested before. So that thing is just going to make you stronger so that next time someone tries to block your blessing, the next time somebody tries to keep you out the room, you're going to realize that there's a back door.
Wow, I love that. I absolutely love that. Sometimes there's a back door, right? Just keep going, right? Don't give up, right? Um, if someone wants to maybe get in touch with you, right, or maybe check you out online, purchase your book, tell us a little bit about how they can get in touch with you, how they can learn more about you, and tell us a little bit about your book and where they can get it.
All right. So the first place they can go to is www.madillard, MADILLARD.com backslash LINK dash IN dash BIO. So MA Dillard backslash link dash IN dash bio. Of course, they can probably check out the link from your show as well. So basically, what people have the opportunity if they want to grow financially or grow their mindset, I have the book Accidental Success, which lays out the blueprint of how you can go from the bottom and reach the top. Talks about real world situations and techniques I use to overcome obstacles. And then for those who are like, well, Michael, you were unemployed and you were able to survive for 4 or 5 months. How did you do it? Well, in the book, Build Generational Wealth, Retire Early, I lay out the blueprint on how you can do it as well. And it's written in a fictional story format. So it's very entertaining. An 8-year-old can read it. It has pictures in there. So it's something that's great for the family. I've done workshops on it with churches and with college students. Just a lot of information. And then for those of you who are like, man, Michael, I want to talk to you. I want to speak with you. I want to do one-on-one session. All you got to do is go to madillard.com. You're going to see a link up top that says book a call. You can book a call with me. And then if you want me to come speak, right? I love speaking to career people, leaders, college students, one-on-one where we can just talk with a room of 30, 100, 500 people. And I can really show some of the resources I use to grow and also the mindset shift, help you grow, change your perspective about life so that you can build generational wealth so that you can be successful.
Awesome, awesome. And so we are going to put those links in the show notes. So thank you again, everyone, for listening to this episode. Remember, obstacles comes to take you to that next level. So when you're going through when setbacks comes, when life throws different doors on your right, do not give up, but push through it. Michael shared his story of how he was able to come from the bottom to now speaking internationally, coaching hundreds of persons, speaking to thousands of persons. If he can do it, so can you. Have that I can mindset. I can. Thank you, everyone. See you on the next episode.